This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
Reed's career-long goal was to change the formulaic stories and stage-bound look of musicals. He found in Jean an enthusiastic avenue through which to do it. Interviewer Graham Fuller stated in 1994 that Kelly's streetwise everyman figure did most to liberate the musical genre from its putting-on-a-show tradition. Jean brought the musical into the real world. The plots of his films took on more weight, and the characters had more dimension. It was at his insistence that On the Town became the first musical to be filmed on location. Aside from adding authenticity to the settings of his pictures, Jean changed the look of musicals by creating dances that could not be replicated on the stage, a technique now known as cinedance. Director Busby Berkeley preceded Jean in the creation of musical numbers meant solely for the screen, but Berkeley's routines are less dance and more brilliant use of camera angles. Jean took Berkeley's work a step further by employing both dance and innovative camera work. Today, the remarkable breadth of Gene Kelly's work is overshadowed by the singular image of a euphoric man dancing and singing in the rain. Similarly, Gene Kelly's life and achievements, particularly after he left MGM in 1956, are all but forgotten. He was a man who wore as many hats professionally as he did personally. He was a choreographer, director, comedian, dramatist, singer, ballet dancer, and tap dancer. He was a father, husband, devoted son, naval lieutenant, and political activist. His character was complex. He has been variously described as a brutally competitive sportsman and a pensive intellectual, an egotist and a shy, self-deprecating man. No matter what hat he wore, Gene's overarching goal in whatever endeavor he undertook, personal or professional, was to make the world a place where fascination, idealism, and sincerity were not just for children. If you're making musicals for a mass audience, with few exceptions, your goal is to bring joy, Gene explained. And if you can lift the audience and make them happy for a few minutes, then the dance has done its work. It is telling that Gene, in spite of his social conscience, quick temper, and occasional dark moods, chose as the ideal musical not one of his own works or a weighty, moralizing picture. The picture to hold that title was Vincent Minnelli's nostalgic work, Meet Me in St. Louis, 1944, a story told through the eyes of an impish 5-year-old child. That is a picture that is seamless, touching, marvelous, the wedding of song and story, Gene told interviewer Michael Singer. Gene Kelly's life, remarkably scandal-free, was a highly private one and thus presents an exceptional challenge for biographers. However, by utilizing previously untapped primary sources and hundreds of newspaper and magazine articles written during and after his lifetime, this book, the first comprehensive biography written since Gene Kelly's death in 1996, endeavors to give a balanced, in-depth view of one of filmdom's most enduring icons. The text focuses not only on his most famous work, but on his lengthy career before and after his time in Hollywood. Above all, the book ventures to illustrate the many dimensions of Gene Kelly, the person. He never stopped believing in the fantasies of boyhood, but at the same time, he was grounded in reality by a deep-seated compulsion to push himself and others to achieve a perfection he claimed never to have found. Little wonder it is, then, that his daughter Carrie noted that the resolution of any story in her father's life and work always takes place through fantasies and dreams. And yet, what made Gene Kelly a true original was his ability to take the world of imagination and make one believe it was tangible. This is the story of the dreamer, the realist, the ballet dancer and swaggering tough who was Gene Kelly.